I know exactly what's going to happen tonight. You'll get into bed, close your eyes, and then it starts. That conversation from 3 weeks ago, you're replaying it. That one thing you said in the meeting, you're analyzing every syllable. That look someone gave you, you're still trying to decode it. You've probably told yourself 1,000 times. Stop thinking about it. Just let it go. But your brain doesn't listen. It feels like someone put a song on repeat and you don't have access to the stop button. The world calls this overthinking, but that word is too soft for what's actually happening inside your head. What you're experiencing has a name in neuroscience. It's called rumination. And today, I'm going to show you why your brain does this, why it's not your fault, and how to break the cycle. Imagine a washing machine. You put a thought in, a memory, a worry, a mistake, and the machine starts spinning, round and round and round. But here's the problem. The machine never stops. No clean laundry comes out. The water just gets dirtier. That's rumination. Psychologists define it as repeatedly and passively focusing on negative thoughts, their causes, their meaning, their consequences, without ever reaching a solution. It feels like thinking, it feels like problem solving, but it's the opposite. Research shows that rumination actually decreases your problem solving ability, lowers your motivation, and increases your sense of helplessness. You think you're figuring things out, but your brain is just running in circles. So why does your brain do this? Why can't it just stop? To understand that, we need to look inside, at a network in your brain that scientists call the default mode network, the DMN. Think of your brain as an office. When you're actively engaged, working, exercising, having a conversation, the employees are at their desks, focused, productive. But the moment you stop being actively engaged, the moment you lie in bed, stand in the shower, or just stare out the window, a different team takes over. That's the DMN. The default mode network activates when you're not actively doing something. It's responsible for self-reflection, daydreaming, and processing memories. And on its own, that's useful. It helps you form your identity, learn from the past, and plan for the future. But in people who ruminate, this network is hyperactive. A meta-analysis of 14 functional magnetic resonance imaging studies confirms that rumination is directly linked to increased activity in the DMN, specifically in the medial prefrontal cortex and the posterior cingulate cortex. These are the areas responsible for self-referential thinking. In other words, your brain has a think about yourself machine, and yours is turned up to the highest setting. Not because you're weak, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your hardware is wired differently. Here's where it gets dangerous. Rumination feels productive. Your brain tells you, if I just think about this a little longer, I'll find the answer. But research shows something different. There are two types of rumination. The first is reflection. That's when you consciously think about a problem with the intention of solving it. That's healthy. That's useful. The second is brooding. That's when you passively dwell on the problem. You analyze it, but you do nothing with it. You feel worse, not better, and yet you keep going. The difference? Reflection has an exit. Brooding is a circular hallway with no doors. And here's the test. Ask yourself 3 questions after 5 minutes of thinking. 1. Do I feel better or worse? 2. Have I solved anything? 3. Is this within my control? If the answer is no 3 times, you weren't thinking, you were ruminating, and your brain tricked you into believing it was useful. By the way, if you're recognizing yourself in this, subscribe to Self-Revealed. Every week we uncover a little more of how your mind really works. Thank you for watching. Now, not everyone ruminates equally, and this is not a matter of willpower. Research from Harvard and Massachusetts General Hospital shows that people with higher levels of neuroticism, a personality trait, not a weakness, show more activity in the DMN when processing negative information. Their brain jumps to self-reflection when receiving criticism, but not when receiving compliments. This means that your brain reacts more strongly to the negative, not because you're pessimistic, but because your radar is tuned to a higher sensitivity. Think of it this way. Most people experience the world in standard definition. You experience it in 4K. Every detail, every micro-expression, every shift in someone's tone of voice. That's a gift when it comes to empathy, creativity, and depth. But it's a curse when your brain turns that same resolution inward and replays your own mistakes in high definition on a loop. This is not a defect, but it does mean that just stop overthinking is the worst advice anyone can give you. You need a different strategy, one that works with your brain, not against it. Okay, you now understand what's happening inside your head. The question is, what do you do about it? You can't turn off the DMN, and you wouldn't want to. It's responsible for creativity, empathy, and self-awareness. But you can learn to interrupt the takeover. Here are 3 science-backed strategies. Interruption 1. Cognitive diffusion. Create distance from the thought. This comes from acceptance and commitment therapy. Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," you say, "I notice that I'm having the thought that I'm not good enough." That sounds subtle, but the effect is enormous. You change your position. You're no longer inside the thought. You're observing the thought. It's the difference between drowning in a river and standing on the bank, watching the water flow. Try it right now. Take whatever thought has been circling your mind today and put, "I notice I'm having the thought that," in front of it. Feel the difference. Interruption 2. The 90-second rule. Ride the wave. Neuroscientist Jill Bolte Taylor discovered that the chemical reaction of an emotion in your body lasts about 90 seconds. After that, you are the one keeping the emotion alive by thinking about it. Next time a ruminative thought hits, set a timer. 90 seconds. Feel the emotion. Don't resist it. But after 90 seconds, consciously choose to redirect your attention. Not suppress. Redirect. Interruption 3. Externalize. Get it out of your head. Your brain generates more thoughts than it can hold. That's part of the problem. A meta-analysis shows that mindfulness-based interventions significantly reduce rumination, but you don't need to become a monk. Start simple. Grab a notebook. Write the thought down. Literally, word for word. The moment a thought is on paper, it loses part of its power. Your brain no longer needs to hold on to it. You've externalized it. It's now a sentence on a page, no longer a hurricane in your head. Let's get one thing straight. You are not an overthinker. That word implies there's something wrong with how much you think. But there's nothing wrong with the depth of your thoughts. The problem isn't that you think. The problem is that you're stuck in a loop that goes nowhere. Your default mode network is not the enemy. It's a powerful instrument, but every instrument needs maintenance. It needs direction. And every now and then, it needs a pause button. Next time you notice the washing machine spinning again, remember, you don't need to destroy the machine. You just need to press stop, take the laundry out, and decide if it's clean enough. Your brain is not broken, it's just too good at its job. Thank you for watching. I hope this gives you a little more insight into yourself and something useful you can actually try. Next week, the psychology of people who cut everyone off. See you then.